So as it turns out, I was completely wrong about Mermail Abyssocea. You see, this card is actually one of the strongest Mermail starters, and I'm going to explain why in just 1 second. Because if you can use her effect to summon him, and then use him plus her in your hand to just kind of go full combo. And I'm not saying this in a facetious kind of way. She is actually good, and not in an Xyz Armor Torpedo kind of way. Whereas, like, if you had, for example, started with Teus discarding a water to search the Osha, to then normal the Osha, target the Teus to summon out your Abyss Rhine plus your Shadow Squad, and then going into a Torpedo, detaching this to draw a card, and then use that to summon the Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince, from your deck kind of way. But rather in a, you hard open the Mermail Abyssocea, you normal summon the Abyssocea, use her effect to then get hand trapped by an Ash Blossom because your opponent is a meanie weenie. And so if they Ash Blossom your Abyssocea and you still open your Abyss Rhine, congratulations, you can use your Rhine to then tribute the Osha to then go into full combo. Like, it's that easy. You bait hand traps. It's just another way of getting to your thing. She actually is way more safe than, let's say, for example, Deep Sea Diva, because you can't tribute Deep Sea Diva with Rhine, but with Abyssocea, because she's a mermail, it kind of works, you know? It's like I don't know how else to explain it. She's just really cool in that regard. But anyways, here's the actual combo. You're going to need Osha plus Abyss Rhine in your opening hand, and I'm going to show you how you can end on, like, the equivalent of 3 Totally Awesomes or a bunch of other really cool cards, and it kind of uses a lot of your extra deck, but it works out. So let me just explain it real quick. You're going to normal summon your Osha, use her effect targeting herself to go ahead and summon out your Mermail Shadow Squads from your deck, and then sending herself to the graveyard, to then use Abyss Rhine to tribute your Shadow Squad to the graveyard, to go ahead and summon out that Super Ancient Deep Sea Ancient King Coelacanth from your deck. That's stupid, but this guy out, and then you're going to use your Shadow Squad's effect to go ahead and summon out your Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince, from your deck. From here, you can use Neptibus's effect to send a copy of Dragoons, to add a copy of Dragoons, to then use that copy of Dragoons' effect to go ahead and search for your copy of Moulin Glacia. You can technically add a Prince here because you can use Prince, you know, discarding off Coelacanth to revive a Dragoons to get an additional search, but we're going to do that way later in the combo. So from here, we're going to use Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth's effect, sending our Dragoons from our hand to the graveyard to go ahead and search for our 3 Mermail Abyss Pikes. Everyone knows this is my favorite Mermail monster, and he's been that way for a long time, even like way back in the second Mermail days. Their effects are negated, so we're not going to use their effects. From here, what we can do is go ahead and Xyz summon using 2 of our Mermail Abyss Pikes into a copy of Bahamut Shark. If you check our grave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Moulin Glacia hits the board, uses effect to take 2 cards out of your opponent's hand. Say hello to the return of our giant blue water dice. So let's go ahead and just put this over on here to you know, signify that your opponent now has 2 less cards in their hand. Ain't that neat? From here, you can use your Bahamut Shark's effect, detaching your copy of Pike, to then go into your copy of Totally Awesome. Yes, I understand that maybe you can get nibbed in this combo. Yes, I understand that there's some other hand traps that can also hurt. By the way, you can also, like, any point in this combo, have Minstrel as your starter as well. Like, this deck is so fluid in its first turn plays, it's insane. And then once post Supreme Darkness support, all of a sudden you got 1, 2, 3 new cards that are all playable that help you with going second. Like, that's really cool. So from here, you're going to Xyz summon on top of your Bahamut Shark and Armor Fortress. I just do this because I like doing it. I feel like I forgot a Dragoon search somewhere, but honestly, it's not super important. Let's say, yeah, we discarded the Dragoons off for the Super Ancient Deep Sea Coelacanth. So from there, we're going to add the Prince from that Dragoons, but we're going to use this guy to go ahead and add your Armored Shark. All right, now that we're caught up back to speed. Now, this is a little bit of a tricky spot. If you had any other cards in your hand, you could probably go for your second Toad here. But because of how things work, unfortunately, we're going to have to go into a Coral Anemone here to then go into a copy of your Shadow Bodyguards, and then use your Shadow Squads to discard your Armored Shark to turn everything into a level 7. And then from here, what we're going to do is use both our Moulin Glacia plus our Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth to go into a copy of Mermail Abyss Gaios. Now, I'm a poor person. I can't afford to play this game at all, let alone get, like, you know, Core Century Rows of these. So I don't have a second Gaios at the moment, so please just pretend this card is a second copy of Abyss Gaios, because what we're immediately going to do is overlay on top of that Abyssocea, a Poseidon the Atlantean Dragon Lord. And then using these two level 7s, we are going to use both of those to go into a copy of Mermail Abyssocea, a second copy, with the Shadow Squad plus the Neptibus as its material. That way when you detach them for his effect, you are able to kind of use these guys to summon things from your graveyard or from your deck and get more advantage that way. Next from here, you can go ahead and link off the Poseidon Abyss plus the Coral Anemone, going into a copy of Mermail Abyss King Neptibus, chainlink. I guess there's no chainlinks, but you can use Poseidon Abyss's effect. Now, Neptibus, I have the Spanish copy, I don't have the English translation. If this guy is a mandatory effect and not an optional, don't discard this guy here because you're not going to have enough space in your zones to use his effect, and you need to use his effect in this combo. Discard whatever random water card you have in your hand. So let's say, for example, we opened, let's say, another water card in your hand. It doesn't really matter here. It could have been Diva or something. You're going to discard the Diva, the extra water monster in your hand, to go ahead and special summon an Armored Shark, a Rhine, and an Osha to these 3 zones right here. And you can use Neptibus's effect here to search for your copy of Abyss Scale of the Mizuchi. You're going to equip this to your Gaios to offer more protection. From here, what you can do is go ahead and use Rhine plus Osha, going into a copy. This one right here, by the way. Use both of these to go into a copy of La Virtue Dragon. On summon, La Virtue is going to search for your Virtue Stream, and you can also use your La Virtue Dragon's effect. Here, discarding your Rhine to add any water card from your graveyard back into your hand, like a copy of Dragoons or something. You can also add that copy of Abyssocea, your second copy, back into your extra deck. Like right here, you have so much flex spots, so you can just go ahead and put stuff back where they need to be so you have the resources for next turn. From here, what you're going to do is link summon off your La Virtue, which is a Sea Serpent with your Mermail Abyss King Neptibus, into a copy of Abyssocea. I guess you don't want to search Mizuchi here. I guess you want to search Trina. It's not super pertinent, but it's whatever. Next, we're going to use Armored Shark's effect here to send a Stealth Kraken from your extra deck to the graveyard to go ahead and summon out your Pike from your graveyard. Now, on summon, you can use Pike's effect here, discarding your copy of Prince, to go ahead and add a copy of Ghost Sister, Marksman, another copy of Rhine or Shadow Squad. Next, you can use Prince's effect here, targeting your Dragoons in your graveyard to special summon it right here, to then overlay both of those. I guess right here, going into a copy of Bahamut Shark, I guess. Like, I don't know. There's just so much you can do with this deck that it confuses me half the time. Detaching your copy of Dragoons, going into a copy of Totally Awesome, using your Dragoons' effect here to go ahead and search for a copy of Atlantean Heavy Infantry. Then I guess from here, what you can do, like if you did search the Trina, you can revive your Mermail Abyss King Neptibus using its effect. If you don't have Trina, and instead you search for Mizuchi, but you run a second copy of Mermail King Neptibus in your extra deck, what you can do, like from here, is Exceed Summon using your Armored Shark plus your Abyssocea into your Mermail Abyss King Neptibus, copy number 2. Then again, you can also use your La Virtue Dragon to do stuff. Like, it's just, there's so much possibility that you can be doing here to just like put stuff back and stuff. But anyways, this is the board you're going to end on for the most part. Like I said, if you still kept Trina and you didn't go for the Mizuchi, you could have revived your Abyssocea, and then you could have shuffled back your extra cards back into your extra deck. But from here, you've got like 5 searches in your hand. You've got 2 Toads. They've got 2 less cards in their hand. Everything this guy targets to is untargetable. This card summons stuff from your deck. And you've got other options to go into more Toads. So you set the Virtue Stream, and you're kind of set. Like, that's kind of the applicability that Abyssocea has in this specific deck. I do apologize about just how confusing things can get with this deck. There's just so many possibilities and avenues that it confuses even me. So I just want you to know that, like, rest assured, you're not dumb. I'm the dumb person, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Well, I guess that was kind of stupid, but, getting back into the swing of things is pretty good. It's just a practice one anyways, so yeah, I kind of recommend running like 2 copies of all of your extra deck monsters, to be honest. Like, you're gonna want to simplify your extra deck. Just take out those synchros if you're playing the Xyz route, but honestly, like, there's a lot of things you can do here. You can play 3 Bahamut Sharks. You don't have to play Kraken or anything. My list is always ever changing because I'm always finding cool new things to do with existing cards. So yeah, there's that. I definitely have some improvements to do, but those will come in future videos. I'm gonna have a more streamlined build as well, but for the most part, keep playing water, I think. Yeah,